The 3-count question of the week. And this was, again, I think this was a Ryan topic. For for like the third or fourth week in a row, Ryan, you're on a roll here with these. But as a fan of professional wrestling, what is more important to you? I guess if either one is important to you, as I recall from our social media posts, but which is more important to you, a wrestler's entrance music or a wrestler's ring attire? Does anybody want to kick us off?
Boy, for me coming up with this question, I don't give a shit.
What do you mean you don't give it?
I guess the music probably has more potential to draw me in than the gear would. A quicker potential, anyway. I mean, if the music is something that can pull the crowd in, I think that certainly is more of a deciding factor than the ring gear, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. My answer would be right along with Matt. I think you can look back at some of the greatest superstars of all time, say Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everybody remembers the glass shattering and the guy wore black trunks and boots. There's nothing. Max Moon had a great outfit, and then nobody remembers shit about Max Moon.
I was gonna say, is there any wrestler that you're like there's plenty of wrestlers that their music got them over. We've had that discussion before.
Right.
Sure.
Is there any wrestler that stands out where their gear kind of got them over?
I mean, I don't say God.
Besides maybe like Macho Man, and I wouldn't even say that got him over.
Gear was incredible, but I don't
feel like the Road Warriors with the spikes.
Yeah,
would be one that comes to mind, and like the face paint that was very. I mean, and in the WWE, the What a Rush was a great theme as well. But I feel like their gear got them over.
I guess you could say like Kane's gear, maybe to an extent. Anyone with like a mask, lean in that direction.
I mean, yeah, like if you think of like Mankind's mask, like especially upon his debut.
I think Goldust has got to be in there.
That's a good one too.
That's a good. Like, and I mean, not that I think
Goldust had a great entrance theme too, though.
Yeah, he did.
That was a perfect package.
Not that I think that Austin's gear was more important than the music, but I don't think you can take away as subtle and quote unquote plain as black trunks, black wrist tape, black knee pads, and black boots were. I think if Stone Cold Steve Austin came out with a sequin tank top and bell bottoms, you would have been like, wait, what? I think his gear.
I mean, the Ringmaster came out with the same gear, and it didn't get him over.
I'm not saying that his gear got him over, but
no.
But I think Austin's gear was important to the Stone Cold character.
Okay.
Tim or Mark, do you guys, either of you have a thought either way on the question of the week?
If you go back to the 80s with Adrian Adonis, his gear got him over, the pink tights and the leotards and the makeup.
Yeah, for sure. Tim?
Was it that got him over, or was it just blind 80s homophobia that ended up getting him over?
Well, there was a lot of that too. The 80s were a special time.
Yeah, that's a word for him. Tim, any thoughts to?
I'm just taken aback by Technicolor Oogie Boogie on the screen. But to me, I think it's. I'm going to be the only person who gives a non-answer here, but I feel like it's right. I think the entrance theme is what brings you to the table, but the gear, once you're a fan of someone, really can kind of set it over the edge for you to like solidify, especially like nowadays the specialty gear is awesome with just the level of creativity, especially during like WrestleMania.
Right.
Seeing their WrestleMania flavored gear, their SummerSlam gear, the big event, and how a wrestler treats how they look on a big stage can really like add some more pizzazz to the fandom for a person.
How Nick Khan lets you present yourself for big shows.
Sure.
I thought it was Paul White.
Well, he's no BS. No BS Paul White now.
I like depending how Mark sits, it looks like the lights in his ceiling are actually coming out of the mask. I think for me, it may depend on the wrestler a little bit. Like, I think for some maybe the music may be more important to the packaging, and I think for others the look and the attire may be more important. Like, you know, if you think about like the Hart Foundation, they always talked about being the pink and black. Like the music fit them, but I think like
I mean, nobody's talking about them though.
But for others, like the music was more important, and for some maybe it's the entire package was, you know, for like the Ultimate Warrior, I think the music and the look are equally as important. But is there somebody? Well, let's go around the room and go with both. Starting with favorite. If you had to pick, maybe not a favorite entrance music of all time, unless you have one. Like when you're thinking about this question, or like what's your favorite, or maybe the most important music to a wrestler's character?
So you're saying what music best fits a certain character?
Sure.
If you all don't fucking say Chronic, I will quit this show right now.
I'm saying Ultimate Warrior.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a good one.
One more time with the question, Jim, because I really wasn't listening, honestly. What music fits the wrestler the best of all time?
To you.
Ravishing Rick Rude.
Which one?
Okay, fuck you then.
No, I'm just curious because, like, to me, both of them, his WCW theme and his WWF theme.
It's definitely not his WCW theme.
That's like picking Hulk Hogan's American Made over Real American.
Right? Who would do that?
Nobody.
So really, any of the sex gimmicks, Val Venus, I think fit him really well. So anything that has to do with sex.
All right. Matt.
I would go with Flair.
Real good.
Wait,
Mark.
Fine.
And the big shows.
And that's no BS.
Mark.
I've got to go. I like the Macho Mans. I'll never go to a graduation again and not think of Macho Man Randy Savage when they played Pomp and Circumstance.
That is a great point.
Well, I think you're never going to go to a graduation because of that order you got from the court.
Well, that's I can't talk about that, but we're appealing. I'll leave it at that. My lawyer advised me.
Did Hillbilly help you out with a public defender?
He got me one of the best public defenders around, best in Lancaster County.
It's himself. Hillbilly is actually a very well-respected public defender.
By
Puts
day,
on
he's
his
a public
camouflage
defender.
tie.
It's against my rights.
He says, Hurt in the car, call HHR for Hillbilly. Injured, turn the book over for Hillbilly.
Hillbilly, is it true you thought it was pomp and circumcision and not Is that true, Hillbilly?
I sure did. I was just working for the tips.
He was though.
Your poor dog. I just feel so bad for your dog anymore.
Man, the
Dog,
kids are used to it.
kids, neighbors. I actually feel bad for Hillbilly at this point.
Poor Hillbilly.
Um,
Is the Washington football team playing today?
no. My at least he,
Why did you ask, Mark?
Hillbilly's a big fan.
Of course he is.
Big fan of the Washington football team. He
I-
doesn't
actually-
know him as the Washington
I'll
football
say,
team.
I'm actually probably assuming he's not a fan of the Washington football team.
Oh, he's yeah.
He's probably very upset at the Washington football team.
Well, I haven't seen him wear that jacket since the name change.
Good.
You know how most people look toward the groundhog to see if it's going to be an early spring?
Oh God.
Around here, we look to Hillbilly. When he comes outside shirtless, we know it's going to be an early spring.
Does Hillbilly have any tattoos?
Oh, does he ever? Dry. It's dry.
What? Oh, I'm almost afraid to ask.
I
This.
don't even want to. Yeah.
Does he have a funky looking ninja star
He had.
on?
I'd have to really look. He has some really weird tattoos, like skeletons eating spaghetti and weird things like that.
That I don't know the guy, but it doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me
I
one
mean, a
bit.
skeleton can like pasta, Jim.
They could.
Italian people die too.
You're right. They certainly do.
Italians die every day.
When I think I go back to Austin to the music that best fits the character.
But those black trucks were pretty important too.
I think they are. I'm not doubting the
I'm just furthering. I'm just trying to add to the show.
Good. You do that.
You get very defensive there.
This guy's music was always really good. Though.
He's a man, such a man.
Such a man.
Not to be confused with this guy though. Some of the responses on social media to the question of the week. The fuck was that? Mark, are you actually having a
Somebody's vibrating.
I was
Um,
vibrating. I got a call coming in.
Is it Hillbilly?
It's Hillbilly. I might have to jump off for a second, but I'll be right back.
Oh God. You do that,
Hillbilly
Mark.
might be out of beer.
Okay. Well, you do what you need to do, Mark. I'm not going to stop you.
I hope it's not somebody trying to cancel their gig. I'm booked for the rest of the month.
I bet.
I'll be right back.
All right, you do that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I'm
what do you
gonna
need,
say-
Hillbilly? I'm doing the podcast. Hillbilly. I'm on the... Oh, hang on.
My God. Couple of responses here. Music isn't. Let's see. Music isn't so much consideration like the Titantron it's played on. It's about what you can see. Only if you get a Sami Zayn where it hits the crowd and they go along with it. So I guess he's saying that a ring attire is more important.
Could have just said that, but whatever.
Right, very
Thank you for
weird.
the 5-paragraph essay.
Zach says, I don't have to listen to entrance music for a 30-minute unless it's New Jack that said ring gear nowadays struggles to be memorable. That's why it's great for wrestlers to have a logo or unique color scheme. Like
Does this guy not know that the New Day exists?
Well, he says have a unique logo or color scheme like AJ Styles or the New Day. Let's see here. Scotty says, honestly, neither. Just care about how he or she wrestles. Charlie says, kind of go hand in hand. We remember Sean's doo-doo brown tights, but Sexy Boy is iconic. Kind of a tricky question.
Do you guys remember his doo-doo brown trunks?
Yeah, was that the Elimination Chamber, right?
Yes, sir.
First Elimination Chamber.
Boy, what a bad.
That was a
bad
look. That was certainly, and that's when he had the really short
bob.
He
had the bob.
Yeah, he had the bob. Richard says neither. It's about the way they carry themselves in the ring. Mario says got to go with music.
No, see, that's not true. I don't buy that to be true either.
What's that? How they carry themselves in the ring?
No, the carrying themselves in the rings is very important. I just feel like both of those things are very important to the character in professional wrestling. I mean, you can look at Keith Lee and how attached we were to the NXT theme.
Bask in his glory.
And we just never felt that level of Keith Lee on the main roster. It's still Keith Lee. He can still go in the ring.
Keith Lee.
But the gimmick had changed because the music had changed. And God forbid you wear you have to have a big guy in a shirt.
Yeah,
on the main roster. The things had changed.
Well, yeah.
Keith Lee didn't change.
Ryan, you're proof that you don't have to be a big man in a shirt sometimes.
Sometimes a big man in a ref shirt or a vest, a sweater vest, or a hoodie is all that we need.
It's true. Mario says got to go with music. It has to pump up the crowd. People jump out of their seats because of music, not because of the attire.
Ooh, I like that answer.
Devin says ring attire. You have to make yourself look good in front of the public for the people that are watching on TV.
Devin, tuck your shirt in. Actually, kudos to Devin. I think he's always been tucked in when I see him referee. Kudos to Dev.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think both are very important, and I do think that I think there's probably in my opinion, there's probably more people that music is more important, but I think there are some probably that attire. If I sat down to make a list, I would probably be able to find at least some wrestlers that attire plays a bigger role into their persona than the music. But music is probably more overall. Any other thoughts to this one?
That was an awful question of the week.
Yeah, I think we might stop using yours for a couple of weeks.
That one was rough. That one didn't hit the way I thought it would.
It certainly did not.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, they can't all be hits, right? They can't all be hits.
I think I came up with another one.
There's some. There you have some more out there.
I don't know. You got to get them to us sooner too. You make all the decisions, so I don't know what's going on anymore. Till the day of the show when you send the runner.
First off, I sent the runner last night. Secondly, this post went out on Tuesday.
I also only checked it this morning, so that's on me.
That's on you. That is on.
It's like the beer.
It's like the beer.
No, the beer wasn't on Ryan. It was on.
But it was on him. But
it was, but it was not on him.
Right.
It was on him, but it wasn't on him.